There are so many veterans that have a hard time affording rent or paying their basic utilities. It shouldn't be that way, and it doesn't have to, because there's a nonprofit that is here to help. Housing American Heroes. As landlords to many veterans, they oftentimes reduce their rent and expenses to help veterans in need. Right now, they need your help to help even more veterans and grow this into something really big. The goal of Housing American Heroes is to help thousands of families, and you can be a part of it. Simply go to GoFundMe.com and search Housing American Heroes. That's GoFundMe.com and search Housing American Heroes. Thanks in advance for your help.
You are listening to The Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at BrianCraigShow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Well, Elon Musk owns Twitter. Welcome to the program, everyone. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host, Kathy. That's right. Elon Musk owns Twitter.
It just happened.
And, this is an amazing thing because we sat down a few minutes ago to start the podcast. Our cell phones just start ringing like crazy, and everything was going on. And I answered one of the my cell phone. I answered, and it was Dee.
Yeah.
Okay, who's one of our Patreon supporters, and she had this like stop the presses moment. She says, "You ever see that?" She says, "You got to stop the podcast. You got to stop the podcast." And I said, "Yes, I know what happened. I know." Elon Musk owns Twitter.
She's got our back.
So we started over. Because
it happened right when we were recording.
Just as we hit the button, boom, the phone started ringing. But Elon Musk owns Twitter, and I got to tell you something. This may sound extreme to some people, but I think if you let this sink in, maybe it won't. I feel like this is like the day of emancipation.
Yeah.
Like a freedom in this country. When Elon Musk is the richest man in the world, you do not become the richest man in the world and be beaten by some wokesters that know a little bit about computer code.
How great is it that the richest man in the world is on our side?
Well,
because there's a lot of other rich guys that are really pissed about this.
Elon Musk.
But we got the richest.
One of the things about Elon Musk that is amazing, except for the Twitter mob, the Twitter mob, the people, he is universally loved. People love Elon Musk on all. He's a lot like Trump, right? He's rich and cool. And people relate to him. I was on...
Because he has common sense like Trump. He has common sense.
I was on YouTube earlier, and this video came up on my recommendations, and it was Elon Musk. He's so relatable to people, like Donald Trump. Now that Elon Musk owns Twitter...
This is amazing.
This is our Emancipation Day. This is amazing, and I'll tell you why on many, many reasons, okay? There's many, many reasons why this is a good thing, and we certainly could spend years just talking about the individual reasons of why this is a positive thing, but we got to be brief on it because we only have a little time. The censorship on the internet has gone one way and one way only, against conservatives. The left
absolutely.
This is not new with the left. Before there was an internet, the left had a cancel culture. It wasn't called that then, but the left have always believed that they are just so right. And when I say right, correct, not like right on the conservative side, and that conservatives are Nazis and Klansmen, and that the Republicans are a hate group. This didn't start with Trump. They've always said that about Republicans, about conservatives. And if you have any examples of high-profile liberals being banned from the internet platforms, that's an exception to the rule. Mm-hmm. And a lot of very good people like Laura Loomer, my friend Laura Loomer, remember she got banned?
Oh my gosh.
And changed herself.
Can you imagine her back on Twitter?
Yeah, and she changed herself to the doors of Twitter and they were laughing at her.
Yeah, I remember that.
Mike Lindell, our supporter, our sponsor, our friend Mike Lindell from MyPillow, banned from social media. Of course, the greatest president ever, Donald Trump. So now that Elon Musk owns Twitter... I mean, this is crazy.
I never expected this to happen. It's amazing.
There's a lot of things. Now, we don't know exactly yet when he'll take over the controls, but there's some concern I have here, okay? Right now, even though Elon Musk now owns Twitter, I love saying that, Elon Musk owns Twitter, it's still being run by these wokesters that have been having meltdowns the last week or so over just the idea that Elon Musk might own Twitter. What kind of sabotage can they commit before he takes over?
Well, whatever they throw at him, he can handle it. I'm pretty sure. Because he's smarter than everybody. And like I said, he's for free speech.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. And I'm seeing all the comments on Twitter here about all these liberals. I told you they won't leave the platform. Oh, it's more important than ever now that
Where
we're
are they
on
going to
here.
go? Gab?
Exactly. They're not going to go anywhere. They have nowhere else to go. They live for this crap. So none of them are going to leave. But I got to tell you, if you left Twitter, it's time to get back on.
Yes.
Join the party. We want to hear your voices. We need to be on there more than ever. Of course, follow Brian on Twitter. And we need to be on there, make our voices heard, and get back on there because that's exactly what the left does not want, and we cannot let them control.
Yeah, and I'll tell you this. Okay, I know a lot of you out there left Twitter when they banned President Trump, and I get it. I would recommend getting back on Twitter now.
Yep.
And the reason you want to do that is at some point there very well could be a mad rush of people re-signing on Twitter.
Yeah, get on there now.
And you don't want to have a backlog like Truth Social's had the past couple of months, right?
Right.
Now, there's a lot of things Elon Musk has talked about. He tweeted just a little while ago, the new owner of Twitter, Elon Musk tweeted that he hopes that everyone that doesn't like him stays on Twitter because that's what Twitter's about.
Right.
And
exactly.
One of the many things that Elon Musk has talked about that I think is just very, very excited about is the end of this caste system. Okay, you hear how I said that? Caste. There's a caste system on Twitter like they have in India with the different colored dots. And there's two caste, right? There's the verified, the blue checkmark verified caste, and then there's everybody else. And there's been this snobbery, this elitism from the blue check marks that they are real people who matter and everyone else, well, you're just a serf and your opinions don't matter. And I was watching once I didn't think about it too much until this one day a while back, a couple years back, I was watching Jake Tapper. They were doing another one of these excuses for a news story on CNN where they don't have a story. They just show a tweet and then they talk about it for 2 hours.
Yeah, exactly.
They put this tweet up on the screen.
And that's news.
And Jake Tapper says, now we must point out that this tweet is from an unverified Twitter user. Well, excuse me. I guess they're like a non-person.
But meanwhile, he's using it as a news source.
Exactly. As a news story to talk about.
That makes no sense.
Elon Musk,
crazy.
We don't know exactly what he's going to do. He said the other day he's going to give blue check marks to everyone. He may very well, that's kind of funny. Everyone's a blue check mark except Brian Stelter, Elon Musk. No blue check mark for Brian Stelter.
Bill Gates.
Yeah, exactly. But this is
very exciting.
You know who I wish was here today to experience this? Who's really Steve Jobs.
Rush Limbaugh.
And Breitbart.
Yeah.
Andrew Breitbart and Rush Limbaugh. Because what a lot of you don't remember a world before the internet. I do. When I first started in talk radio, we had to do show prep using newspapers that were like on the paper. And it was very difficult because I've always been on the air in the morning. So I had to be on the air at 6 a.m. And it's hard to get the newspapers that early in the morning and have them read. It was very difficult. And when the internet was new, as something that was new, we had Drudge Report, which is useless now. Chris Ruddy at Newsmax, WorldNet Daily. You guys remember WorldNet Daily? And it was a place of freedom. And they told us, I tell people this a lot because it's such a cool thing that it was then. They didn't call it the internet. It was called the information superhighway. And it was a place where all information would freely flow and there was freedom of speech and boom, and you could have all the information out there at your fingertips. And I'm not exactly sure when it became in its current form of a gulag. The internet's become a gulag, but it really, I think, has a lot to do with Barack Obama's run for the presidency in 2008 when the Joe the Plumber moment happened. Mm-hmm. This is when I think I know there's examples before this, I'm sure, but when the internet first became like this gulag that we've been living under, that we've now been freed from during this Internet Emancipation Day. I think maybe I should I'm going to coin
Somebody
that.
just tweeted this. Elon Musk buying Twitter is the 21st century version of Lincoln freeing the slaves.
They must be listening to us on this podcast.
Before we even put it online.
Exactly, before it's even online. That's how popular this podcast is. They might be in the other.
Yeah.
This is Internet Emancipation Day. And what happened with Joe the Plumber, this is the first time I remember a main restriction. Joe the Plumber, Senator Obama was walking down the street. I want to start a new business, your tax plan, and he said, sometimes you got to spread the wealth around. So when Obama said that, sometimes you got to spread the wealth around. Mm-hmm. That's communism. That's a textbook in one sentence summing up communism. And then people were going wild on the internet about that. And that's when I remember the first mainstream crackdown on free speech on the internet. And once they did it, it never stopped.
Well, to me, this is the official. We've seen the tide turning these last few weeks with like Disney and Exxon banning these flags, these identity flags from their company now, meaning the rainbow flag and Black Lives Matter flags. They're doing that. Disney having problems, Netflix, all these companies being affected by wokeism. To me, this buyout is the official end of wokeism in this country. And let me tell you, wokeism only exists in America. Other countries want nothing to do with it. And this is how I know this. This is a stupid example. But I was watching The Real Housewives of Australia. And it's recorded in real time. It's not an old show. It's new.
Yeah.
And they had an episode where this woman and man put on Indian headdresses and danced around, making noises, jumping around like Indians. And nobody cared. It was no big deal. I know it's a stupid example, but I thought, wow, how come if they did that here on an American TV show, they would get fired from that show and they wouldn't even put it on the air or something would happen. It'd be really bad. Other countries, and I've seen other examples, Europe, all these countries, they are not they do not hold to this woke ideology the way Americans do. Yeah. And now you are seeing the end of wokeism with this buyout. This is the beginning of the death of wokeism. This is just you're seeing it coming right now.
If someone said, okay, describe for me what Twitter is, what Twitter is. Could you put this on film? Could you make it? This is how I would describe it. It's already been made. There is a hit television show that is Twitter, and it even has spinoff series. Okay. It's The Walking Dead, okay?
Yeah.
The zombies are the Twitter mob, and the people that are not zombies that are trying to survive, fight the zombies, that's like us. That's like regular people.
The zombies keep coming.
The zombies are the verified blue check marks in the Twitter mob, and those of us that are conservative or regular people or MAGA, we're the people that are trying to escape the zombies.
Well, and the tide is turning.
What's become of Twitter is really a zombie mob. And what happens with Twitter, you see this happen all the time. Someone will get nominated for an Oscar. This happened a couple years ago. Who was it that was picked to host the Oscars? And then they pulled up some tweet from 10 years ago and it was insensitive. And then they took it away. This was a year or two ago.
Madness.
Right now, this morning, now it is changing now because Elon Musk now owns Twitter, and Twitter is just going in a weird direction. Earlier today, Steve Martin was trending on Twitter.
Yeah.
And I thought that Steve Martin, the great Steve Martin, who is a brilliant comedian, I thought he had died because why else would Steve Martin be trending on Twitter? And so I clicked on the name to see, oh my goodness, Steve Martin died. I was very upset about this because I grew up with Steve Martin and The Jerk and all that, which never could be made today. Do you remember in The Jerk? He thought he was born black. Remember that?
Wasn't he adopted by a black family?
But he didn't know that. He thought he was born black. He did not know this in The Jerk. But anyway, the reason Steve Martin is trending today is his 1978 King Tut parody that he did on Saturday Night Live. Some millennial snowflake discovered this, I guess, on YouTube or something.
And they got all triggered.
They got triggered, and they started accusing Steve Martin of cultural appropriation for this King Tut skit.
Unbelievable.
And that's why he's been trending today.
See, that's what I'm saying. Like that Housewives with the people dressed as Indians.
Yeah.
Nobody cared. Now they're going back 45 years to find something else to be outraged about in this country.
And now,
so stupid.
What they don't understand, they have no context with this Steve Martin skit. If you watch it now without context, you're probably thinking, what is this all about? But in 1978, I was 7, Kathy was 8. The King Tut was like talked about everywhere. King Tut and Bigfoot in the Bermuda Triangle. And there was a King Tut exhibit in 1978 touring America and the world, but it was in America. And everyone was talking about King Tut, the mysteries of King Tut's tomb. They had this other thing that everyone that entered the tomb when it was first opened died from some Egyptian virus that was locked away, the curse of King Tut's tomb. And he did this parody song on King Tut because it was, it was just an in thing at the time.
Right.
But they're saying,
and the song became a big hit,
and they're saying cultural misappropriation. This is unbelievable. And they're out to destroy Steve Martin today. Now, that's not going to happen because since Elon Musk now owns Twitter, they've got other things to concern themselves with. But what happens with the Twitter mob, and I use the Steve Martin example today as an example. It's so interesting that the Steve Martin thing happened today. So what happened with the Twitter mob is someone found this video on YouTube or something of Steve Martin from 1978 doing the Egyptian King Tut thing. They posted on Twitter, and next thing you know, the Twitter mob, who have nothing else to do because they have no jobs and they live with their parents.
Keyboard warriors.
They live with their parents. They have no jobs. They see this and they start running. They start chasing Steve Martin down the alleyways of Twitter. Like a mob in the zombie show,
so
to destroy
stupid.
him. And then once and they do this with people and all the time. And then when they destroy someone or get them deplatformed or whatever it is they do, they just move on and go on to destroy someone else's life. And Elon Musk is going to stop that. And it's very exciting.
And I don't know if you guys know the catalyst for all of this. And the catalyst for all of this was the censoring of the Babylon Bee.
That's right.
And I don't know, the Babylon Bee is hilarious. It's probably the best parody publication I've ever seen. They're so funny. And they got suspended from Twitter. And that is what totally was the catalyst to this. That was like the straw that broke the camel's back. So he must have been a huge fan of Babylon Bee. See, if he likes the Babylon Bee, he's got a good sense of humor. He has a
Elon
conservative
Musk,
sense of humor. And that suspension was what got him really to do this.
In fact, Elon Musk talked to the Babylon Bee before he made his first talk about buying Twitter. Now, I want to tell you, one of our sponsors of this program is one of the people that has been banned by Twitter, and hopefully
come back.
They will be put back by Elon Musk. I'm talking about, of course, the Thomas Edison of sleep, the inventor of the MyPillow, Mike Lindell, and I hope to see him back on Twitter very soon. Now, Mike Lindell, it is Mother's Day, just coming up, just a couple weeks away. There is no gift better for your mom on her day than the great products at MyPillow. And I'll tell you, a couple years back now, I guess it's been about maybe 4 Mother's Days ago, we got my mother a MyPillow for Mother's Day. What had happened, my mother came and stayed with us on Christmas Eve, and she says, "Hey, can I have one of those MyPillows you're always talking about to sleep on tonight to see if it's all that?" Of course, my mother, you can't take my word for it. She has to experience it.
Right.
And
that's how mothers are.
So we gave her one of our MyPillows, and she woke up the next day, and she says, "Wow, you're right. I can't believe that." Because you think just a pillow's a pillow. And sleep is very important for me. I tried everything, right? I tried the foam pillows. I even got one of those bamboo pillows, which are ridiculously expensive. Nothing worked.
Oh, yeah.
And Kathy got me a MyPillow for Christmas a few years back, and immediately, my sleep improved. But that patented fill inside the MyPillow, what it does, it stops you from tossing and turning and your head moving back and forth at night because you're sleeping so comfortably. And every time you toss and turn or your head moves, you wake up even if you don't know it. It's like having sleep apnea. So listen, Mother's Day.
And if you accidentally sleep on a different pillow, you will definitely notice the difference. You will definitely notice the difference.
Oh, yeah. So if you go to MyPillow.com, there are many great gifts for mom on her day, all from MyPillow. Save up to 66% off with the promo code Kane. I'm just going to recommend a couple quick things here for you for Mother's Day, okay? Now, again, there's over 20 specials with our promo code Kane, Kane, at checkout. You can get mom a great many things. But my personal recommendation for Mother's Day, the MyPillow bathrobe comes in multiple colors for men and women, including pink. 30% off with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane.
With matching slippers.
Yes, and the MyPillow slippers are currently 50% off with our promo code Kane at
Those are
checkout.
good deals.
Multiple styles, multiple colors for men and women. And there's many other great products there, too. You can take advantage of all these specials with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane. Give your mom a gift that she will remember for years to come.
Do you love to garden? How would you like to make your garden truly special and amazing? There's an Etsy shop you will love. It's called Nina Seeds. It's all one word on Etsy.com. Nina Seeds is a boutique that specializes in the sale of seeds for the garden, vegetable garden, fruit trees, forest trees, bonsai trees, and some accessories to make your seedlings. You will find seeds from all over the world, such as eucalyptus, citrus, aloe, tomato, banana, pepper, papaya, watermelon, trees, and many more. So how does your garden grow? With Nina Seeds, it will be more lush than it has ever been. Go right now to Etsy.com and search Nina Seeds. That's all one word. Nina Seeds on Etsy. Have you thought about investing in the stock market but didn't know where to start? Have you asked yourself, which stock should I buy? How do I know when to buy, when to sell? The book, The Stock Market Decoded, available on Amazon and Kindle Unlimited, will answer those questions and teach you to read stock trends, understand bear and bull markets. You will learn the different metrics. You will learn to diversify your stocks and much, much more. The Stock Market Decoded is filled with tons of up-to-date visual financial content to guide you in your trading journey and includes online access to weekly content, as well as additional in-depth materials and articles. It's for all ages, for those interested in getting started in investing, and requires you to have no previous knowledge of finance. What are you waiting for? Begin your stock market journey right now and order your copy of The Stock Market Decoded, available on Amazon and Kindle Unlimited. From author Kevin Patrick Keneally, the psychological thriller Neighborhood Watch has been described by Kirkus Reviews as superb characters headline this chilling, slow-burn crime tale. When the Caseys move into affluent Ridgeport, Illinois, in search of a better life for their newborn Scott, they are surprised to find a book entitled Ridgeport Welcomes You, Procedures and Guidelines for Happy Living. The book is full of rules and ordinances that citizens must abide by in order to live in their happy neighborhood. Although Mom, Loretta Casey, is hesitant to live by Ridgeport's strict rules, all that changes when she meets her neighbor, Sue Ellen Norris. Sue Ellen serves on the Neighborhood Watch Committee, overseeing the safety of the town, and Loretta becomes engrossed in Sue Ellen's addictive personality. But as Loretta's son Scott and Sue Ellen's son Matt grow, they discover that Ridgeport is not as perfect as their moms make it out to be. As Scott and Matt form their band of friends, their journeys into the neighborhood woods prove to be much more than just a place of refuge. This psychological thriller can be found on Amazon in paperback, ebook, and audiobook.
You are listening to The Brian Craig Show podcast. Broadcasting from sunny South Florida, Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at BrianCraigShow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. And again, Elon Musk owns Twitter. Okay, the liberal meltdown has begun. Brian Stelter, his whole world must be crashing down, right? They have new owners at CNN. Elon Musk owns Twitter. CNN Plus was shut down. I mean, you know, Brian Stelter, he's about to have a breakdown. So I have not heard this yet, but I'm going to play this for you cold and raw. I don't know what Brian Stelter is going to say here, but I know he's not happy that Elon Musk now owns Twitter. So let's just listen. This is... I hope he loses his blue check mark. Don't you guys, Brian Stelter? Does he really deserve a blue check mark? He is the biggest bully.
I think better than giving everybody a blue check mark is just eliminating the blue check mark. Then these elitists won't feel special anymore.
I think two people should have blue check marks only. Only two people. Elon Musk and Donald Trump.
There you go.
That's it. Nobody else. Nobody else. Donald Trump and Elon Musk. Do you like that?
Yeah.
Don't you like that?
Plan.
And Elon Musk, SpaceX put the American manned space program back into function. And at our house, we have the most perfect view of the SpaceX launches. And what I did for the last launch is I get up on the ladder and get on the roof of our house so I can get above the trees of the neighborhood. And SpaceX, not only can you see the rocket perfectly with the naked eye take off from our house. You can even see the rocket when it comes back. Remember, because the one rocket lands safely,
If you stand on the roof of our house.
You can see it in the backyard without. You
but
get
better on the roof.
Well, it's better on the roof. Yeah.
We used to do that when I was a kid in Fort Lauderdale. We'd go. We didn't stand on the roof, but we would go out in the driveway, and the way our house was angled in Fort Lauderdale, we would look right out to the northeast, and we'd see all the rockets.
Well, where our house is now is north of where Kathy grew up, and we're closer. And
it's awesome.
It blows my mind. It's like being almost right there when Elon Musk's rockets take off. You can just see it perfectly from our house. In fact, maybe next time, when one takes off at night, it's spectacular. Maybe I'll climb up on the roof at night for a night launch and make a YouTube video to show everyone. Cool. All right. Anyway, so let's find out what Brian Stelter has to say here about Elon Musk owning Twitter here on Internet Freedom Day.
There's not a law that forbids Twitter from having Donald Trump on. That was a company choice, a company policy chance.
Well, I like how Brian Stelter thinks that his viewers believe that a law was passed banning Donald Trump from Twitter.
Oh, my gosh. Thank you, Captain Obvious.
I'm glad you've cleared that up, Brian Stelter.
There's not a law that forbids Twitter from having Donald Trump on. That was a company choice, a company policy chance. I suspect those policies are going to change.
That's right.
When reading through the lines of this press release, the board decided it had to take this offer. The board did not want to take this offer necessarily. They looked for other buyers, as every indication. They now have to hand over the keys to Elon Musk, unless there's a snag. I do suspect we're going to see politicians who were booted off get back on. Whether that's actually a good thing for Donald Trump, completely different question. Yeah. Whether it's actually a positive for him to be back on Twitter, completely different question.
Why wouldn't it just be a positive? He would
to have him back in the news cycle around the world.
He would love it.
For him, why wouldn't it be positive for him? To be back, to have a huge megaphone, to maybe run for president with his huge megaphone, this would be a plus for Donald Trump.
Exactly.
You could also make the case that Donald Trump suddenly be back in the news, very visible in a way that he hasn't been, would remind people of exactly why he was, why he lost his election.
Wow, he's like at a funeral, Brian Stelter.
He is so
devastated.
deluded.
Okay, now
at least Allison is lucid.
Okay, now this business about Elon Musk owning Twitter, you're starting to see the panic at CNN.
Oh, it's going to be fun.
And I must say, I'm a Newsmax guy and Real American News guy. Okay, but I am going to watch some MSNBC tonight. I'm going to watch some CNN. Because they're going to be in freak out mode. There's going to be a movie made about this. You understand? There will be a movie made about the purchase of Twitter by Elon Musk.
Like the social network.
Bigger. This is bigger. This is this Internet Freedom Day, right? That we're in, right? This it's total freedom. We've been freed. This is in some ways bigger than when the internet was invented. Okay, because there's freedom now. And one of the things, though, that that I want to know more than anything is what Elon Musk is now going to have access to. You got to realize this guy's also a tech genius, Elon Musk, remember. Right. I want to know, and I know he's going to release this because he said about a week or two ago, he said that he would like to make Twitter open source software, meaning that everyone can see how it happens. I am dying to know the inner workings, and Elon Musk, I do believe, will share this with us, the inner workings of the individuals, the topics, and the words that are shadow banned on Twitter.
Oh, I think he'll make all the records public.
And when people find out, and then not only will he let us know what phrases, what topics, what people, what words have been shadow banned on Twitter, we'll get a date. And what will happen is people will go back through time and find out, okay, this was throttled down in June of 2014. What was going on in June of 2014? And then they'll look and find out and say, wow, Twitter has been manipulating our lives.
Who's buying hashtags? Who's getting things trending? And
how do trending things come to be?
Right. Hopefully he'll expose all of that. And what'll be interesting, I think what really frightens the left, not only Donald Trump, but things will be talked about that have not been allowed in the last few years. And I think that scares the hell out of them too.
Well, yeah. And, over here in the news media, see, this is an interesting thing, okay? Before the crackdown really began on the internet, all right, before the crackdown really began, the news media were terrified of Twitter, okay, because they couldn't control the messaging. And then the crackdown began, and the media embraced Twitter.
Well, what we're hearing now, I see on Twitter all these liberals, I'm moving to Canada. I thought they threatened to move to Canada when Trump won the election.
I thought they were going to move
and now they're going to move again.
I thought they were going to move to Canada when George W. Bush won the election.
Yeah,
They're still here? I thought they left 22 years ago.
I guess so.
But, when we start to see the inner workings of Twitter and how they have censored people,
It'll be
ideas,
interesting. Hopefully
topics,
he'll show all that.
That is you could quite possibly see, I'm serious about this, you could see people go to jail for the manipulation of our society. Now, another thing that I'm dying to know, and this will all be written about, not just movies, but also be written about. The board of Twitter, they said, this is not going to happen. We're not going to sell it to you. And then there's been this big change. And I know a lot of people will say, well, it's because there was going to be lawsuits from the stockholders. No, something else happened. Something big behind the scenes that we are not yet privy to led to the board saying, okay, we're going to sell it.
You got to play the rest of that Brian Stelter clip because he says something else.
I thought I played it all.
No, there was a little bit left that he said. Just
okay. Okay, let me rewind it a little bit.
Let's see, because I think we missed like 10 seconds. I think he says something else.
Would remind people of exactly why he was why he lost his election and why he was booted from office. So look, who knows? I think that's an example of a broader question for Twitter.
Okay, I guess not. There's another clip where he says, he says this: if you get invited to something where there are no rules, where there is total freedom for everybody, do you actually want to go to that party, or are you going to decide to stay home? Well, I know what he'll do. Do you think he's going to leave Twitter, Brian Stelter? There's no way in hell he's going to leave Twitter.
Brian Stelter.
He is. You can see on his face, he is he's
panning,
visibly upset over this. He is shaken over this.
Brian Stelter has just lost all of his clout, and
that's for sure.
That he's got a direct line to these people that run Twitter, and that's over now with Elon Musk.
Yes, and he used Twitter to wield his power, and he's a very small man, and I mean that mentally, not physically, obviously. But you can see on his face, like you said, his entire world is coming crashing down. CNN's been bought out.
CNN
Plus lasted 3 weeks. The world he has created for himself.
Yeah.
And for him to try to spin, this is the ultimate spin. He's trying to spin it that Trump being on Twitter is a bad thing for Trump. That is such a ridiculous spin. Even his colleague had to laugh at him and correct him.
The only negative for President Trump with Twitter is he went to this great expense and trouble to get his own social network.
Yeah, I wonder how he feels about that.
And, I'm on True Social, by the way, Real Brian Craig on True Social on Twitter. Yeah. You can find me at Brian Craig Show on Twitter, Brian Craig Show on Twitter. Now, all of you out there that deleted your accounts when President Trump was banned, again, I understand why you did it. Please go on there and get
it back.
Get a new account, because there's going to be a mad rush to get on Twitter, and it's going to get jammed up like True Social was. You want to get on there now while you can, because this is going to happen, and the world is about to change. It's so interesting. Elon Musk, the liberals, they used to be a big champion of his. Elon Musk has made electric cars cool with the Tesla, made them cool, and they love him for that. But now all of a sudden, he's the next Hitler.
In fact, they all drive his cars.
Not anymore. They're going to go back to the Prius.
That's got to be an interesting.
Yeah. What are they going to do with their
dynamic.
Teslas?
They're sitting there crying in their Teslas over this.
Oh man.
I mean, that's crazy. I love it, and I love watching.
Day.
It is exciting. I love watching the left have a meltdown. Wokeism is falling apart. This whole house of cards they have built is falling down all around them. And you know what? This is why it's so important to be patient.
They deserve it all.
Because the truth, you reap what you sow. Okay, it talks about in the Bible, and you reap what you sow. And the seeds that you sow, you will reap later on in life. And the left are reaping this. They're reaping the harvest of the seeds they have sown of hatred, fear, bigotry, wokeism. Now that harvest is coming in. and they're reaping that harvest from the seeds that they have sown about all of this, and it's all falling apart for them. And all this groundwork they've laid of silencing people, censoring people, shadow banning people, all this. I see people on here now, their Twitter accounts, including Janice Dean, they're already getting more and more followers. So maybe it's already starting where he's ending these shadow banning. So you're going to see a lot of conservative accounts punch right up.
This is the tweet from Elon Musk earlier, okay? I hope that even my worst critics remain on Twitter because that is what free speech means. And I'll say this. I'm in the free speech business, okay? I talk for a living. And I think freedom of speech is a good thing. Now, what Brian Stelter was talking about, a party, by the way, no one's inviting Brian Stelter to parties.
That's for
Who
sure.
invites him to
and
a party?
Nobody's going to go to a party that he has.
But if you ever are at a party and Brian Stelter is there, he'll be wherever the food is at the party, I promise you. But I love this guy talking about parties. But Elon Musk said
can't resist those jokes.
At that TED talk that he did a couple weeks back, when he was talking about this, and he said it will be free speech for things that are legal.
Well, I love this tweet. Somebody just tweeted, Elon Musk owns the libs, literally. That's very true. He owns them now, literally, because their whole life revolves around Twitter. They don't know what to do now.
Jack Posobiec is calling it the Great Reset, which is a liberal thing. And they're like, so this is
Well, I know they're having a total meltdown. I really think they felt that this was not going to happen. And I for a time, I didn't think that the left would let this happen either. But apparently there was a lot of pressure from the shareholders and other things going on, and it is happening. He has bought Twitter. Hopefully, it'll be very quick. And I'm very excited to see what happens, who gets back on the platform. But I agree with you. I think Trump might be a little perturbed that he put all this time and money into Truth Social now when all this is happening. Because he wants to get back on
I've been
Twitter.
thinking about this. Okay, so President Trump has his own social media platform, Truth Social. He has only posted on Truth Social one time.
2 months ago.
The day that it went live. And he hasn't put anything else up there. Of course, President Trump knows well Elon Musk from the SpaceX, right? That, maybe Donald Trump has known about this longer than the rest of us have.
I don't know.
And maybe President Trump plans on being back on Twitter and making that his primary thing.
Well, I'm sure he does, but he doesn't even use Truth Social. So what does that mean for that platform? This is with Elon Musk taking over Twitter. This is going to hurt those other social media platforms.
Yeah, Parler. And
it is
Getter.
because you're going to see an onslaught of conservatives coming back on the platform now, especially if Trump is back and all these other people are back that have been banned. And it is going to be a lot of fun to be on there. And it's going to hurt all these other platforms that have come up down the pike in the last year or so. So I don't think he's happy about starting Truth. I could be wrong. That's what my gut's telling me.
Right now, probably not.
I think he's thinking, dang it, like I should have waited and now what? Because, he doesn't, like I've said, I don't know why he doesn't even post on his own platform. It bothers me. It's been 2 months. His son is on there. Over the weekend, there was a huge onslaught of people that came on, including Eric Trump, a bunch of people that were not on before, Dinesh D'Souza. They brought in millions, which is wonderful. And his son is truthing all the time.
Don Jr.
Don Jr. uses both platforms, so maybe it won't have any effect at all. I could be wrong.
Listen, you can never have enough platforms.
Enough for both.
But, the thing about reinstating people, there have been a lot of good people that have been banned, not just famous people. There's been a lot of conservative people that have been banned that aren't famous. Well, yeah, there's a lot of famous people like Mike Lindell, Laura Loomer, President Trump, and many others.
Oh yeah.
But what we don't really know, and Elon Musk will have an understanding of this because he's a technical guy and he has top tech people who work for him. He's got his own space program, SpaceX, right?
I know, that's crazy.
So he's got top computer people that work for him that can understand these things. When they go and take over Twitter under the reign of Elon Musk, can all of these people just be – there very well may be, Kathy, a way to go into – I don't know what the technical terms is. I refer to it as the plumbing of Twitter, the behind-the-scenes algorithm. There may be a way for them just to flip a switch in a way and bring back all the banned people to Twitter, just like that. Anything that is Twitter, all the social media is a website, right? In a way, all that information is still there somewhere. If they reinstate all these people with all of their followers, with all of their tweets, with everything, that's what I would call the Great Reset, and it should happen.
The question, I hope you're right, and the question is, will Donald Trump, if he gets back on, which I think he will, I think there's a 95% chance, will he use Twitter? I don't think he would avoid it. I think, but some people think that he might not use it.
Yeah,
Do you think he will use it?
I think he will use it. Yeah. Now, we're going to take a quick break, and I'm going to come back, and we're going to continue talking about Twitter. There's some other things we've got to talk about. Don't forget, for Mother's Day, go to mypillow.com. Use our promo code KANE at checkout, KANE. Save up to 66% off of MyPillow products. Give your mom a gift that she will remember for years to come, the gift of a perfect night's sleep for the rest of her life. MyPillow.com, promo code KANE.
Is life becoming too much to handle? Maybe you just need a little guidance. Maybe you need a little zen. Find your zen with Jen. Jen L. O'Neill, or Coach J-Lo, is a certified life coach, writer, entrepreneur, business consultant, and author. As your life coach, Jen can help you discover your potential. She offers individual coaching sessions focusing on mastering your life goals, your relationships, and yourself. Sometimes all we need is someone to steer us in the right direction. Jen can help. She will help you build stronger relationships, get more self-confidence, improve your business or job performance, and finally find inner peace. It is possible. She knows how to get you where you want to be. As a natural motivator with 7 years of coaching experience, she tailors her approach to her clients' needs and has overcome many obstacles herself, so she understands and connects with her clients on a deep level. Contact Coach J-Lo today. And if you know someone that needs a little push in life, let them know about Coach J-Lo. Check out her 2 books, Self-Worth Redemption and Too Nice. You can find everything at CoachJLo.com. That's CoachJLo.com. Winter storms, wildfires, earthquakes, hurricanes. Any one of these natural disasters can cause unexpected power loss for you and your family for days, weeks, and even months on end, leaving you unprotected and powerless in your greatest moment of need. Fortunately, with the Safari ME 2000-watt solar generator, you'll always have reliable, sustainable power when you need it most. This energy-efficient generator is ultra-portable, safe, silent, and can power heavy construction and medical equipment with ease. You can even connect the generator to the solar panel during sunlight hours and enjoy constant power throughout the day. Plus, act now and receive a free gift with your solar generator purchase. Whether you're experiencing an emergency, camping, or simply working from anywhere, you can depend on the Safari ME 2000-watt solar generator for instant, sustainable power. Visit PortableSolarPlusFC.com to get your portable solar generator today. That's PortableSolarPlusFC.com. If you're a fan of anime, there's an online store you will love. Thamilla.com. THAMILLA. At Thamilla.com, you will find items featuring your favorite characters like Pokemon, Attack on Titan, Naruto, Dragon Ball Z, and more. Thamilla.com carry lamps, figures, hoodies, keychains, pins, mouse pads, and that's just the beginning. This is your one-stop shop for anime items and decor. You can also find them on Facebook, Instagram, and Etsy. Thamilla.com have an incredible selection of anime products to choose from. You will find great gift items too. Thamilla.com. THAMILLA. Made by fans for fans.
You are listening to The Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at BrianCraigShow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host, Kathy. I want to take a moment to thank all of our Patreon supporters for their support of the program. Thank you so much, everyone. And you know, if you would like to support the program and you become a Patreon supporter, there are great benefits to doing that, okay? One, of course, you're supporting this great podcast, which was named the number 3 must-listen-to conservative podcast in America. Number 1 was Mark Levin. Number 2 was Glenn Beck's The Blaze. And number 3, The Brian Craig Show podcast. Also, you get commercial-free editions of each and every podcast episode. And not only that, you get the podcast episodes first, okay? I upload them, boom, you've got them right away, commercial-free. And our top Patreon supporters get a live on-air thank you on each and every podcast episode. The names you will hear now are our top Patreon supporters. I want to thank Andrew and Connie, Christine, Gary, ETW, Chuck, D called me with the Stop the Presses moment, Pamela, Jacqueline, Rick, Rich, and Nick. These are our top Patreon supporters. Now, to become a Patreon supporter, there is a link in the description of this and every episode. It may or may not be clickable, depending on the platform. You may have to copy and paste it. There's a direct link on my website, briancraigshow.com, and the direct website address is patreon.com/real Brian Craig Show. Patreon.com/real Brian Craig Show. Become a Patreon supporter and support all the content that I bring to you, the podcast, everything I do, the YouTube, everything I do, and it is greatly appreciated. Thank you all. Okay, so a lot of people are saying Trump's not going to go back on Twitter.
Yeah, I'm seeing people saying that on Twitter
I don't believe
now.
that. President Trump needs to reach as many people as he can to accomplish his goal of making America great again and keeping America great. And if there's a platform where he can reach tens of millions of people, Twitter, he's going to use it. Now, that doesn't mean he's going to use it on day one if they put his account back up there or lift the ban and he can start a new one. But he will use Twitter.
I hope so.
A lot of these articles that you're seeing are they're like wish list. This is like wishful thinking. They're hoping he won't use it. Like Brian Stelter was talking, it would be damaging for him to use Twitter.
Well, I just worry because he doesn't use truth. So I worry that he's like not going to use social media at all. He puts out statements.
He'll be on Twitter.
He's doing interviews. I hope
he'll be
so.
on Twitter.
I'd be very disappointed.
He will be on Twitter. The ban will be lifted. He will be on Twitter, and he will use Twitter. And I want to just talk to you guys about how dangerous these bans have been. On January 6th, this country there was a Capitol breach, and this country went through something we've never experienced before. The television news and the internet companies cut the lines of communication off between the White House and the people of this great nation. Mm-hmm. This has never happened before. The president of the United States, throughout the history of modern things, radio, television, and now the internet, whoever the president of the United States has been, has had the ability and the right to tell the networks, whether it's television, radio, or the internet, that they have a message for the American people, and they stop what they're doing and carry the message. And during the Capitol breach, they wouldn't let President Trump communicate with the American people to cool things down.
Right.
That's how dangerous things have gotten with censorship on the internet. And, this case going on with Marjorie Taylor Greene to keep her off the ballot. Something came out today. She was trying to communicate with the president. She had heard a rumor about something that was going on during the breach, and President Trump was cut off. He was cut off. And that was just a step too far. Now, again, I know a lot of you don't like Donald Trump. I don't understand why. I love Donald Trump. But regardless, I don't like Biden, okay? I don't like Biden. But if he wants to communicate with the American people, I believe the networks, the radio, the internet, all these platforms are obligated to carry Biden on a dime if he needs to communicate an emergency message to the American people. You can't just say, I don't like you, I don't support you, and you cut them off. So that's the kind of thing that led to Elon Musk owning Twitter today. And this is just an exciting time. I mean,
it is exciting.
One thing as I get older that I realize, and as you all grow older, you'll realize as well with the liberals, right? The liberals have a lot of problems. But the biggest problem that liberals have, and I'm not the one that came up with this. A lot of people talk about this. The biggest problem liberals have, there's no boundaries, right? There's no boundaries.
Well, they have boundaries for us, just
but not for
themselves.
Not for them. And whenever liberals are doing something, they take it too far, they push too far, and then there's a snapback. And the left, we were talking earlier that what Twitter did to Babylon Bee is what led to Elon Musk owning Twitter today. Right. And that was just too much for him. And he's like, enough of this. He was probably annoyed by what they were doing for a long time.
That was the catalyst that got this going, for sure.
Yeah. It absolutely is. And the left have no boundaries. And we are now, with Elon Musk owning Twitter now, this is not just Internet Emancipation Day. This is also you got really, and I think most of you appreciate all that we're experiencing today. I mean, this is also the official beginning of the end of wokeness in American society.
I think so.
Which has just got, between this, one of the biggest things that's happened lately that has really turned people against wokeness is Leah Thomas, the swimming thing.
Yeah.
That was so ridiculous.
It's a group of things. That's one of the major things, though. It's Disney. It's that. It's, all these other things with companies cracking down on people, private Zoom calls being exposed. It's a lot of things, and you're seeing the tide turning, and you're finally seeing people not embracing wokeism. It's starting to unravel for the woke people, and they're still going to keep trying to do it. But what you need is the companies to stop giving into this, and that really would have a huge impact, plus this Twitter buyout. But major companies not giving in, schools not giving in, Ron DeSantis and other governors taking out CRT and ending this, just flat out ending all this wokeness that's coming into our culture. And you see it happening, and all you need is one person to lead the charge. Now, all these governors are doing what DeSantis has done. If you have one brave person like Elon Musk or DeSantis to lead the charge, other people will follow in and be like, we got to do this too. This
and you know
is crazy.
What? All these things that have happened. Look at what's happened this week, right? Elon Musk owns Twitter today. Last week, Governor Ron DeSantis here in Florida took away the city status from Disney.
Yeah.
A new owner.
CNN Plus.
New owner came in the CNN. They shut down CNN Plus. They're making other changes. Yeah.
It's a whole bunch of things happening,
and it's happening
one time.
Quick. And, I tell you guys, and a lot of people don't want to hear this, America is a conservative country. Liberalism is a minority viewpoint.
Yeah, it's a myth that it's the popular opinion. It
seems to be a popular opinion because they control all these outlets. Elon Musk's purchase of Twitter today in 2022 would be like someone in the 1970s or 80s purchased NBC, ABC, CBS, the New York Times, and the Washington Post before there was an internet. Right. It's that big. This is the biggest acquisition that has happened that is going to change the direction of our lives that any of us have ever experienced. Now, listen, everyone, thanks for tuning in. My name is Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. We will talk to you next time.
From author Craig Evans comes your next must-read book, From Shattered to Soaring, available on Amazon. For author Craig Evans, innocence was taken as a child. Abandonment, physical abuse, and psychological torture swallowed his youth. Depression, anxiety, panic attacks, and agoraphobia were the result of suffering. But through surviving cancer, a new self-discipline was born, that of iron will and perseverance. He transformed himself from the broken pieces to find powerful courage to soar through fear, then above it. In From Shattered to Soaring, the author shares his extraordinary life story and reveals the powerful techniques as a practical guide that he used to transform fear, anxiety, and panic to reach his full potential. His story uncovers a path that anyone can follow with actionable exercises to shatter fear, drive through pain, and uncover their greatness. This book was written for those suffering from anxiety, panic attacks, agoraphobia, and depression. After enduring a lifelong struggle with these debilitating disorders, author Craig Evans discovered a way through the fear and no longer suffers. And he shares his experiences with you. Order your copy right now. From Shattered to Soaring, from author Craig Evans. This book is perfect for support groups and book clubs. Available on Amazon in both Kindle and paperback.